Book 101 review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. One of her advocacy, CMO on the go, helping founders and leaders align their true calling with strategy, marketing, and communication. No other than Miss Christine Knudson.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Welcome, welcome, Miss Christine. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Yeah, you did it. You didn't miss anything. You did a great job. I'll just expand on it. How's that?
Yes, go ahead, expand it.
Great. So I call myself the CMO on the go. And what that means is I provide fractional CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, services and consulting and mentoring to founders who just really have a heart for the business that they're doing. I mean, there's so much business out there, but I'm talking about the people that want to make an impact in this world, really care about what they're providing and how it is being utilized in the world. And that can be skincare, that can be a service, a coaching service, that can be authors. I'm sure you have probably amazing authors that come on here that really care about what they're putting out in the world. I will name two here in a little bit. Don't you
Yes,
worry.
go ahead.
You know, we're talking about books. So what I really love to do is help people help more people. And if you think about it, that's what everybody is doing when they're providing a service. They're providing something that can make an impact in the world. I mentioned skincare because I'm a girl and I love my skin and I love my beauty routines. But it can come down to parenting, parenting books, parenting resources. It has that ripple effect, right? In so many different ways. So I love partnering with heart-centered businesses and founders who are looking to, okay, I've got this business and I've got this product or this service. Now, how do I take it to the next level? Because there's so many different nuances within business and within teams and within marketing that can create a ceiling and cap us. And there's so many different energy principles that people aren't even aware exists just like gravity. You don't need to believe in gravity. You don't need to say, hey, gravity, I see you. It's
I'm
invisible. It's
here.
a force that affects all of us, right?
Yes.
There are universal laws that do the exact same thing. And they are happening in your life, in your business, in your relationships right now. And so, what I really love to do is sit down and look, okay, what are your pain points? What are you struggling with right now? Is it with your team? Is it with the numbers that you want to hit? Is it with revenue goals? And then look, okay, so this is what you think the problem is, and it is never really the problem. It's always something else. So how do we connect the two and solve for it? And that's where the universal laws come in. That's where understanding the energy in the world comes in and how your force, how you show up personally with your relationships and with your business has that ripple effect and transcends with everything that you touch. So that's what I do. That's what I do with my aligned social media and marketing services and CMO on the go.
Miss Christine Knudson, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. And today, let's talk about the strategy, marketing, and communication. And tell us, when you talk about a leader's energy, what do you mean specifically? Is their emotional state, their presence, their passion, or something more intangible?
That's a really great question. So, a leader's state is all of the above. It is not just one of those things, it's all of the above. It is who we are. It's what makes us who we are. I mean, think about this. I'm sure there's been times where you've walked into a room and someone else has walked in and the energy of the room has changed because of how that person walked in. Like maybe they just got in a fight or they're frustrated about something. It has that ripple effect and they didn't even say a word. Have you had an experience like that?
Yes, he's so
So
powerful.
yes, it's the same thing. It is the absolute same thing. And so if you think about it, Every problem that you have in your life, whether you want to believe it and agree with it or not, same for me, same for everyone, you are the cause. I am the cause of every problem that has happened in my life. But the most beautiful thing about that is that I am also the solution. I am the problem and I am the solution. Who I am creates the world around me. And that is called the law of mentalism. That means that what we believe, who we are, what we believe is what we create around us. And so if you think about that, think about it. There are so many people out there that talk about manifesting, right? Jim Carrey, for example. Jim Carrey wrote himself a check for $10,000 saying this is for actor services rendered, something like that. And within
Mhm.
5 years, he visualized every single day. And within 5 years, guess what he made for Dumb and Dumber? And did I say $10,000? It was $10 million.
10 million.
Yeah, yeah. So he made $10 million for Dumb and Dumber because he mentally
Visualize.
manifested it. And so people create vision boards, they do their mantras in the morning. I do my affirmations in the mirror. So that's a positive way of creating our reality around us. Now, there's also the downside to that as well. So I was a single mom. This was years ago, sitting in a very tiny apartment, living paycheck, not even paycheck to paycheck, living on Medicaid, what we have here, Medicare here, and having food stamps to help my kids, like to feed us, to get by. And I took a event ticket sales job to try and make ends meet. And I was so scrappy, Danielle, back then. I just needed to make it work. But I felt so victimized because of some life experiences, a single mom in a tiny apartment, just like I couldn't do it. And so I was like this. I felt very, very small, very victimized, like life was a burden, everything was bad. I was just really, even just talking about it, I feel myself going like this. And so what was I doing then? I kept creating survival stories. I kept creating a survival atmosphere because that's who I was being. That's how I felt. That's all I saw. And it wasn't until I actually shifted and realized I really need to focus on what's happening here in order to create a different reality out here. So I did. I doubled down. I decided, okay, if I can't see this beautiful job yet, if I can't see that making bills yet, if I can't see a better living environment and home, what can I see? What shift can I make now? So I focused on smaller things. I had kitchen dance parties with my daughter. It was a tiny little kitchen too. I'm 5'11". I'm very, very tall. But we had kitchen dance parties. And so I created joy. I created
Mhm.
magic. And so once I started feeling more of that joy and magic, then I started expanding. What else can I create here? What else can I do to lift myself up? And then sure enough, eventually I was like, you know what? Screw this environment. I'm not even going to exist in this environment anymore. And I gave up everything and moved us across the country, took a new job, and put myself in a new environment. And then I was able to expand my thinking of even more. So the law of mentalism is where we look at, okay, where are we at right here? And how is this the creating the reality around here? I promise you, if you are having trouble with finances, it's because you believe that you're not worthy of more than that. If you're struggling with relationships, it's because you believe you're not supposed to have an easy relationship. Why is that? And so the best leaders, not even the best leaders, the leaders that create the most impact in this world are the ones who aren't afraid to ask the really hard questions of themselves. Why am I causing this for me? Why does this keep showing up for me? And what do I need to know about this? Why do I need to change it? And that is also the law of correspondence. That's called the mirror law. And that's where what exists on the outside is a reflection of what's on the inside. And so a perfect example of that would be if you don't like how, say, you're speaking with someone at work or maybe even in a relationship, and they feel very combative or very difficult, right? And it's just frustrating. Like you get tense. Like I feel it in between my shoulder blades. It's like, why? I don't want to talk to this person. It's like every time it's a fight just to get them to do what I want. Whoa. That right there is a mirror. So then you have to ask yourself the question, where and how do I show up like that, because they're telling me that is information. They are telling me something about myself that I haven't been willing to face yet. And I promise you, if we can take the opportunity to look in those mirrors, because everything around us is that mirror, to reflect on ourselves and recognize I'm not the victim, they're not the problem. I am the problem and I am the solution. And if I can shift this, I can change everything else around me.
How does a leader's internal energy, whether calm, anxious, or passionate, or exhausted, unconsciously ripple out to shape the mood, performance, and even the physical health of their team?
Sure. That's a really great question. So a leader's energy really does ripple out. And that is because who the leader is will set the tone for the entire organization, the entire team. So if you have a leader, actually, let me give you an example. I worked with a client who he had a successful coaching business, and this coaching business was big time. I mean, very, very well known, very, very well known. And he was working with some great people. He was on amazing stages. But over time, something shifted within him, or something came to the surface within him where he decided that he just, like, if he didn't like how a contractor was performing, he wasn't going to fulfill on the contract anymore. So he had contractors that were working for him, providing services, providing value, and then just pull the rug, not fulfilling on the contract, not seeing to the end of the contract. Totally illegal, by the way, but the law and courts are not very fun. So stuff didn't always go that direction. So what happened then is when he stopped fulfilling on contracts and stopped paying his contractors, guess what his clients started doing? Can you guess? Now remember the mirror law and the law of mentalism, okay? Who
Yes.
he was being reflected back at him.
Hmm.
His clients, they didn't fulfill on their contracts. So they were year-long programs. They didn't stay for the entire year. They ended up cutting short, and he lost his monthly recurring revenue. And then it got worse because he didn't learn his lesson yet. It became more ingrained within the business. He stopped paying his employees. He stopped valuing them. His actual W-2 employees, who by law had already worked, he was choosing not to pay them. So then guess what happened, Daniel?
What happened?
He didn't get paid. People stopped buying his services because they didn't value him anymore. He lost his entire coaching business. It had to turn into something else for him to be able to survive. Now, that's another law too. You have to kill something to create something new. But as far as the law of mentalism and the mirror law, the law of correspondence, who he was now rippling out into his clients and into his employees. And I'm going to tell you, showing up for work there on those calls, that was not fun, because who was he? He was not a fun person to be around. So when you think about, as a leader, everything we do, everything that our team feels, their success, their failures, we are 100% responsible, because we set the tone. 100% set the tone. And most businesses, most teams, most discord, all discord, comes down to one factor: communication. And if we lack the ability to provide a healthy communicating environment, then that can only fall on one person, the person who's supposed to set it up to begin with. And that goes down to a tool that I learned from one of my mentors, Roy Camarano: open, honest, and direct communication in a positive, nurturing environment. Now, you can show up and choose to be open, honest, and direct. But how do you think that's going to fly over if it's not a positive, nurturing environment? As a lady, I'm going to be coined the B word. I'll tell you that real fast. Real fast. So it's up to
Real
us.
fast.
Yeah, so it's up to us to create that positive, nurturing environment so that people feel that they can come to the table and be heard. One of the biggest complaints that teams and employees voice when they feel burnout, when they no longer feel inspired for work anymore, all comes down to one thing. It's not that they don't like their job anymore. It's not that their job is even too much for them. It's that it became too much for them because they didn't feel that they were valued and appreciated in what they were providing. And that goes to every relationship. Think of a husband and wife scenario, or a partnership scenario living together. the wife's home all day caring for the kids, and the husband or the partner spouse is at work all day. And he comes home and she's exhausted, but she's willing to keep going. But if he doesn't appreciate what she did there, does she get resentful? It's like one of the biggest marital complaints that's out there, to show appreciation for what the other person is doing. And so if you think about, okay, when I wake up in the morning at 4:30 sometimes, Daniel, just so inspired because I love what I do, because the people that I work with, the founders that I partner with, the leaders, they're grateful. We're doing amazing things together, and we've created an environment where we communicate effectively with each other, and we talk about any things that come up that are disagreements. It's okay because we're talking through it in a positive, nurturing environment. But I'm telling you, there are times where I've worked at jobs and it didn't matter how many hours of sleep I got. My alarm would go off at 8 a.m. and I would still feel exhausted because I wasn't inspired, because I was burnt out, because I was working in environments where there was competition, where there was conflict. And that goes to another gauge that I can tell you about, another tool from Roy Camerano. It's the 5 C's. It's conflict, competition, compliance. He's going to shoot me. Communication, cooperation, and collaboration. So there's 3 different categories there. We've got fail, we've got succeed, and we've got prosper. And when you're a leader, it is our job to create the positive, nurturing environment, right? For open, honest, and direct communication. And the way we do that is by showing up and looking at, okay, where are we falling on this communication gauge? Are we hanging out in conflict zone? Are we like competing to have the best idea? No, this is my idea and my idea is better than yours. Nothing's going to move forward if you're there. So as a leader, we have to look at, okay, where are we falling in communication so that we can help the team move forward? Because it's all about becoming a team and working together. If you have compliance head nods, but they're like internally saying no, they haven't really bought in, they're not inspired, they're not going to wake up on their own in the morning, they're going to feel burnout when they come to work. If you have some communication, great, that's awesome. We've started what we need to do. But where we really want to move so that we can have that prosper is cooperation and collaboration. And collaboration is where you've created a dynamic as a leader where people feel that they can come and share their idea. And then another person's like, oh my gosh, that's great. What if we did X, Y, and Z with that idea? And then, oh my gosh, that's great. What if we did this? And you create something that you never could have created alone. And you recognize that as a team. And so when we're leading a team, when we're leading an organization, and we look at, okay, is my team in conflict and competition all the time? The only reason why they could be in conflict and competition all the time is if what? If the mirror law exists, if the law of correspondence exists, is because I am somehow. So I need to go fix myself before I can even help you guys find the way forward. And that's how we ripple out. That's how our energy affects and impacts the teams that we lead and that we work with.
Miss Christine, as CMO on the go, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
Oh my goodness, my short-term and long. Oh, that is so fun. That is so fun. Well, Daniel, I am putting together a book right now, so that will be hitting next year, and it's all about the universal laws and how we can apply them personally and in our business. I've had many stories. I mean, I'm telling you, I was not an overnight success. I did not learn these laws easily. They are something that I stumbled on, learned some of them, and then was like, oh crap, all of these like quote unquote awful things are happening. Oh my gosh, this is what was happening. If I had known this was happening, I could do X, Y, and Z. I could have done X, Y, and Z so much better. And so this is going to be a guide. It's like a tool for people to use so they don't have to experience all of the stumbles that I have. So that is a short-term goal. Long-term goal, I see myself, my kids will be graduated, they'll be in college. My daughter wants to be a chiropractor. So I'll be traveling. I'll keep doing this. I really love working with other founders and businesses. I really love talking about the universal laws and how they can help others make an impact with the world. But I will continue helping people help more people. That's my calling.
Well, good luck to your goals, Miss Christina. Looking forward for more success. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Oh, I would love to. Okay, so I mentioned the five C's, and I mentioned, or six C's, sorry. He's going to shoot me. Roy, if you're watching this, I love you. So the communication gauge, and I also mentioned open, honest, and direct in a positive, nurturing environment. That all comes from Roy Camarano. He's been a fabulous mentor of mine, and he has the entrepreneurial transitions. I've got it right here. It is an old book. Oh, he's really going to shoot me for calling him old. But it's great. It helps leaders understand where they're at. There are a few different many different types of leaders, where they're at, and it gives you an effective and real understanding of why we operate the way we do and how to implement certain strategies and tools to get to where we want to go. So it really breaks it down. It's very clear. If you're an entrepreneur or a founder, you're going to read the book and be like, oh my gosh, that's me. He really nails it on the head. And then the other one that I love, love, love is The Alchemist. This inspired me back when I was in that tiny little apartment, wanting to give up and not knowing what to do next. And if you aren't familiar The Alchemist, it's by, oh gosh, I always butcher his name, Daniel. It's
Paulo,
Polo.
Paulo
Yes,
Coelho.
Kalo. I think it's
Coelho,
Kilo.
yes, Coelho,
Yes,
yes.
Brazilian. He's wonderful. If he's listening, I don't. Is he still alive? I don't know. Great book. I was in my tiny little apartment. I wanted to give up, and I cracked it for the second time. And it's all about your personal legend. We all have our own personal legend, and everyone's personal legend is different. And how he's on his way to find his treasure. And if you want something, man, the whole world conspires to help you get it. But it's not just about finding that end treasure, that 5 year goal, or that certain number that you want to hit for revenue. It's about everything you learn about yourself along the way. And then what do you know? Your personal treasure is something that's actually inside and not on the outside. And so I love The Alchemist. It's a great reminder. I've read it like maybe 8 times. I'm not joking. It's a beautiful book, easy read. Highly recommend picking it up if you haven't.
Thank you for that recommended books, Miss Christine. But before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well, geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast, Law 101 and mental health 101 love letters in a third season, and my movie 101 review and music 101 in fourth season, and science 101 and sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Christine, if leadership is truly about energy, what is the lasting energetic imprint of a great leader lives on their people and in their organizations long after they're gone?
Love. It's love. And I'm not talking about the romantic kind. I'm talking about the really caring about another person and helping them feel seen and heard, like they matter and that they're capable of whatever it is that they're doing in this world. A good leader helps someone discover who they're always capable of being. And that's love right there.
Love, love, love indeed, Miss Christine. Knudson, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your business, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yeah, if you want to connect, I would love for you to check out my website. It's evjexperience.com. I have a newsletter you can opt in for. I share stuff like this once a week. They're not big emails. You can get universal law inspiration for your business and for your relationships.
Yes, people, let's spread the love of Miss Christine Knudson. Let's support her because if you support her, for sure, more and more CMO on the go will rise. So, Miss Christine, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate you having me on.
More to come, people. See you soon.